Hi and welcome back, or welcome to my All the Perfume YouTube channel. In this video I'll be reviewing my top 10 fragrances by Britney Spears. I have a lot of love for the Britney Spears fragrance line, and I do own most of the bottles, so any video that I filmed previously I will of course link below. I have in fact filmed a top 10 Britney Spears perfumes before. It was my first ever YouTube video. I haven't actually gone back to compare my taste, but I do know that a couple of them have changed. I've tried to kind of go between my personal preferences, but also the scents that I think are most distinctive. I'm not sure if it's coincidence or not, but lots of these ones are still available to buy, so maybe that's testament to the quality and just how great and popular they are. As ever, I will include links below to where you can purchase so that you can shop the scent yourself. So I'm going to go through the scents individually, talk about the notes and what I think they're suitable for. I will also go through in order of their launch, from the very first fragrance launched right up to the most recent. First up we have Curious. In the top of this scent there's magnolia, pear and lotus, in the middle jasmine and tuberose, and in the base vanilla, whitewoods and sandalwood, and also some musk. So I've talked a lot about this perfume before and how it really was key in kind of propelling forward my perfume collecting and my love of fragrance. The launch was so exciting and it looked really cute and like something different. The packaging was super cute. The box kind of opened up and then you had the perfume kind of presented, and it just felt like something a little bit different and a little bit more exciting. I really enjoy the scent and I'm going to give it a test. This is a very floral perfume and I do like it. I had to include it because I feel it's classic and lasted the test of time. And when I smell it I get this really pretty magnolia. I kind of really do think of this when I think of magnolia scents. Now that I know there is pear in it, I can smell the pear too, but it's very much the magnolia, not a lot of tuberose, and then you've got your vanilla and woods in the dry down. It's very pleasant, it's hard not to like, and when it was first launched you could buy the 100ml bottle with an atomizer, like the pump spray, and yeah, even though that was super cute, it didn't always work very well with these bottles. So now, yeah, I prefer these smaller ones. This is a 50ml bottle, and you can always buy this for a great price. So I think it's a really pretty floral scent that's hard to dislike and would make a great gift for somebody. I had to include it. I think just the fact it looks so classic, and you know, this bottle is known now, and that blue, I just love it. I just still think this looks so different to anything else out there, and yeah, so I just, although not a personal love, it's kind of very special to me and I just had to include it in the top 10. Next up is Fantasy. In the top of this scent we have kiwi, quince and lychee, in the middle white chocolate, cupcake accord, jasmine and orchid, and in the base musk and woods. And whenever I'm talking about this one I look forward to giving it a spray. This was an instant love for me, and I think I might have smelt it prior to my plans to go and buy it, and can't resist. It was when I was in New York for the very first time. I bought this in Macy's, and I think they'd had like a launch party or something the night before, because they gave me a t-shirt with my purchase. I had some pink beads. Like, I was loving it. It was just such a kind of fun launch. This is super sweet, and I think lots of people find that gourmand, foodie, cupcake, white chocolate vibe just so fun and appealing. I do think this was a bit of a trailblazer for further launches and sweet and candied scents. There were a few in the years that followed that kind of seemed like they were emulating Fantasy. It's so good. I feel like most people know somebody who's worn this one and it will take them back to a certain time in their lives. I don't think it's for everybody. In fact, I know it's not. I often mention my sister who just can't stand this one. In fact, this was her bottle, which is why of all my Britney Fantasy perfumes, this is a 30ml, not a 100ml, and I'm always saying I must buy that 100ml. But you need to like your sweet scents, but it's just such an instant pick-me-up for me. I love wearing it. I think nowadays this would be a great perfume for somebody as their first scent, like a, you know, a young child or early teenage years, to get them a fun experience of perfume. And yeah, it's still available and for a great price too. It definitely makes me like kiwi scents all the more. I love the combination of the kiwi and the wood, and white chocolate, as I said, is such a great note too. I would recommend Fantasy. Yeah, I really love this one. And while I do talk about younger people perhaps liking this and finding it fun, I have a friend who is a head teacher who keeps a bottle on her desk. So yeah, perhaps, you know, it just depends on your taste, but I had to include it. I have such fun memories of this launching, and it is by no means my first bottle. I must have had 5 of this easily. Yeah, I really, really do love Fantasy. This next perfume is Believe. In the top of the scent, we have guava and tangerine. In the middle, honeysuckle and lime blossom. And in the base, praline, amber and patchouli. And I included this quite recently in my top 10 must-have perfumes. I adore this scent. It's probably my favourite, even though I'm trying not to rank them within the 10. Yeah, because it's in my 10 must-haves, I suppose it must be. A little squeaky bottle there. I just think this is so underrated. Like, this is patchouli, tangerine, which is definitely more noticeable for me in more recent years, and guava. It's strong guava and just so fruity, but it's different. It doesn't smell like anything else I have. And it's so great on the skin. This will be my scent of the day. I've got to wear this, I love it. Some people do find the patchouli a little heavy, and there are theories that this was reformulated and doesn't quite smell the same as it did when it was first launched. I don't find that to be the case, and I am told that I have the first edition of the bottle with this green plate on the top. But yeah, I've had other bottles since as well. I love this one. And I'm so glad you can still buy it. I don't know how this isn't more popular. I honestly love it so much. If you want long-lasting fruitiness with an addictive quality, this is a great scent to go for. So yeah, and also yeah, buy it for somebody where a fruity scent for them is a safe buy. Because as I said, lots of these are still available, and Believe is one that is as well. This is Hidden Fantasy. In the top of the scent, there are notes of neroli, orange and tangerine. In the middle, more tangerine, lily, clove and some sweet notes. And in the base, vanilla, woods, sandalwood and also amber. And this is a scent I suspect wasn't in my original top 10 in my first YouTube video. I've gone on a journey with this one. I mean, when it was first launched, I just felt it wasn't what I expected or wanted from the Britney line. It kind of wasn't sweet or candied enough. And yeah, and now I just love it. I think it's such a good scent for wearing at Christmas. In fact, now it does remind me of last Christmas. I sprayed a lot of this, and it is all about the orange. It is like a blast of orange with a little bit of spice, some sweetness, but sweetness in that fruity way, and your vanilla in the dry down. It's lovely. It doesn't smell like anything else I have or have tried. It's just kind of Christmas in a bottle. I really, really love it. And it was also one that my husband complimented when I wore it at Christmas, and I felt like, yeah, despite the amount of perfume I wear and the vast range I have, it's not every day that he actually says something about a perfume, so it sticks with me when he does. I think this is one to buy and put away for Christmas. You just can't go wrong with this. It smells so good and will have you feeling festive. I'm definitely glad that Hidden Fantasy is still around. This is Circus Fantasy. In the top of this scent, we have raspberry, sugar and apricot blossom. In the middle, peony, orchid and water lily. And in the base, sweet notes, violet, vanilla, musk and wood. And this is one of my favourite of the Fantasy line completely. I can't recommend this enough. So of course, I'll give it a test as well. I feel like this perfume is perfect if you want sweetness like Fantasy, but something a little bit more wearable. Oh, that's beautiful. I've always felt like it's such a good all-round scent that is day or night, summer or winter. I remember back in the day in 2009, I would wear this to go out, but I would wear it to work. I was so happy with it. And as I've said with a few of the scents so far, this is certainly not my first bottle. In fact, I've just bought this from TikTok for £12.89 for 100 millilitres, and it is my best seller in my TikTok shop. It just, yeah, it's going, and I can't believe it's so cheap. Such a brilliant price. So do check out my link to see if that's still live. I mean, when I first used to smell this, I thought I was smelling strawberry. And I guess really it was the raspberry I was smelling. Definitely the sugar and those sweet notes. Yeah, it's sweet and it's fun, but also it's a little citric. And yeah, it was another reviewer, I can't remember who it was now, who said about the citrus in this, which yeah, you do kind of get. Maybe that gives it something a little bit clean, which brings it down from the super sweetness of the original Fantasy. I think it's so good. It's definitely musky, and that's how it wears. I wouldn't say it's the best for its projection, but maybe that is also part of why I like it for kind of times when you need something a bit more understated. Yeah, it's really good. It's one of those perfumes that just so suits the bottle as well. With the sugar and the red berry of the raspberry, it kind of looks like it smells. It's really good, and it is still available to buy. So yeah, one of my absolute loves of the Britney line is Circus Fantasy. This is Intimate Fantasy. In the top of this scent, there are lychee, violet leaf and lemon notes. In the middle, brown sugar, lily of the valley and jasmine. And in the base, benzoin and also vanilla and musk. And this perfume was one that I really enjoyed at the beginning, but I came to appreciate it over time with how much love it got in the fragrance community. So it's become a little bit of a cosy autumn favourite for me, because somebody who followed me over on Instagram said how great it was for autumn, and then my eyes were opened and I could just see how cosy it really is. And the bottle is very beautiful as well, white with the little pink stones. Oh, that's lovely. It's musky, definitely got the brown sugar in it. That's just such a tempting, amazing note that would always have me wanting to purchase the scent. Yeah, that smells beautiful. And I surprised myself by wanting to wear it in the evening fairly recently, and then I thought, well, Intimate Fantasy and the marketing, I can kind of see how that vibe was perhaps the aim of this fragrance. Yeah, this is lovely to smell in autumn. It is just cosy. That's it with Intimate. It's a cosy scent, lots of sugar, lots of musk, and a bit of that vanilla as well coming through in the base. This sadly is harder to get hold of now, but Naked Fantasy, which is a newer launch, launched in 2022, is easy to get hold of. So I can include the link for that one as well. There are fans of the line who say, well, you know, Naked Fantasy was just Intimate rebottled. They are quite similar. I just personally prefer this bottle. So yeah, that's Intimate. Beautiful. I mean, you could wear it daytime in winter. That'd smell really great. But yeah, a lovely evening autumnal scent. This is Private Show. The notes in Private Show are whipped cream and coffee, nectarine and clementine, and in the middle, dulce de leche, orange blossom, and in the base, amber and musk. Now this perfume really grew on me, and I must admit it was again with other fragrance lovers saying how great this was that I went back to it. Because originally, I guess like with Hidden Fantasy, I was thinking, well, it's not sweet and candied in the same way as the other scents in the Britney line, but it's good. Sadly, it is hard to find now, but I got my bottle on Vinted and I've literally just unboxed it ready for filming. That's just so good. It's creamy coffee, so addictive, so smooth, kind of comforting with those fruits coming through, because yeah, there are 3 fruit notes in this. It smells beautiful. It's so well done, and it's kind of not what I would have expected from the marketing of the scent either. It's there is nothing about how this was advertised that suggested to me we had a gourmand coffee scent. It's really lovely, and I would suggest scouring those reselling sites for a bottle of this because it's that good. I'm surprised it isn't still available because it does seem to crop up a lot on the perfume platforms online. I love this, and I just can't recommend this enough if you like coffee and perfumes. Although I will say that the coffee isn't as strong as some of the scents I've smelt recently, but it's the fact that this is done in such a smooth way, and I love that the dulce de leche is in it as well. That's, yeah, just tempting, great, very well done. And I recently paired it with Kayali's Vanilla 28, and that was just a beautiful, beautiful, cosy combination for bedtime. Yeah, Private Show had to make it to this top 10. I think it's a really well done Britney scent and very original. This is Prerogative, and the notes are apricot, goji berries and pink pepper. In the middle of the scent you've got coffee, red lily and saffron, and in the base amberwood and sandalwood. And I was very excited about the launch of this fragrance because it was Britney's first marketed as unisex scent, so I expected something a little bit different. I kind of consider it in my favourite coffee perfumes category, but actually on smelling it ready to film, I'm getting a bit more of the fruit. So, oh, it's lovely. It's got that real Britney vibe about it, like kind of, it feels like a Britney scent for sure. It's lovely and fruity with the berries and apricot, but the coffee is there, just not as strong as I remember. I'm not sure if that's my bottle. I love to spray lots of this, and I've had it in the past where somebody has smelt it on me asked what I'm wearing, looked it up on their phone, checked it's the right one and bought it there and then. Yeah, it's good. I always say my disclaimer that I know that isn't a finished bottle. There is still some scent there, but relative to my collection, you can see I'm wearing this one a lot. I think I'm headed for a bigger bottle. I found one on Vinted last night that was like £12 for 100 millilitres. And I don't want to be without this in my collection. It's a really enjoyable wear. Great if you're a coffee lover and yeah, just want a little bit of a kick from your coffee with your fruity notes as well. This is Rainbow Fantasy. In the top of this scent, we have cloudberry, pear leaf and finger lime. In the middle, peony, water lily and jasmine. And in the base, cotton candy and woods. And I really adore this scent. Another absolute favourite Britney perfume for me, a favourite in the Fantasy line as well. So this was a must-have for me when it launched, and I wore a lot of it in 2020 and in lockdown as well. So I can certainly say this is a fragrance you want to have if you need a pick-me-up. It's so fun. It definitely got me into cloudberry as a note. I haven't got many perfumes with cloudberry in it as a note, but I've had some wax melts and things since because of liking it in Rainbow Fantasy. This manages to be creamy and woody and sweet all at the same time. It kind of has a juicy couture kind of vibe to it. It just projects well, it lasts well, it smells great on the skin. And I can't see why this is discontinued. Like, this is such a shame. It wasn't even launched too long ago. And yeah, it's hard to get hold of. I've done fairly well with mine, but yeah, I'm sad I won't be able to replace it easily. So I would say look at your reselling sites for this one. Really fun, not for the faint-hearted. I mean, with those notes, with the cotton candy, you need to like your sweet scents, but yeah, if that's what you're here for, then you'll enjoy Rainbow Fantasy. This is Blissful Fantasy. In the top of this scent, we have melon, lily and freesia. In the middle, tiare flower, tuberose and jasmine, and in the base, musk and sandalwood. So this is a quite recent launch from Britney. This is the second to last of the launches. So we've had Jungle Fantasy since, Blissful Fantasy was before. And when I saw the kind of yellow-orange bottle, I wasn't too excited because we just had Naked Fantasy and maybe I felt like I wanted to see something different. But I smelt this perfume and I felt like I was smelling Christina Aguilera's Inspire scent. Let me know if you remember that one. And that was a scent I did own back in the day, but didn't love and parted ways with. So I thought, okay, that's me in Blissful Fantasy. That's what it is. I don't need it in my collection, which is crazy when I basically have all the other bottles. But then somehow, well, when I came back to it, I realised this is so much like Ralph Lauren's Glamorous for me, a scent which I adored and wore pretty much as my evening scent when I was at university, despite the fact that it had the white flowers in it, and I've not always loved my white floral scents. I find this so calming and the Blissful name really suits it. It's lovely, and I've been reaching for this at bedtime because it's on display and that tends to be the pattern I fall into, but I can imagine wearing this for bright days when it's not too hot, like that kind of early spring feeling. The melon note is really lovely and fruity. Some people have compared this to Jennifer Lopez's Live Luxe as well. That's a very fruity scent. But for me, the white flowers come through a bit more strongly than that. So I see this more as a white floral than I do a fruity perfume. I really enjoy this and it is still available to buy. It hasn't particularly made waves in the fragrance community as being a great one. But for me, that personal connection with Ralph Lauren's Glamorous, I'm like, yeah, it's back in my collection, is how I feel with this one. So yeah, for me, I would recommend this and I just feel it brings a lovely calming scent to my collection. So that was all 10 of these perfumes here. Now, it wasn't an easy list to whittle down to that 10. I did also have Midnight Fantasy in the list at one point, and that is so lovely and strong. It projects really well and it smells a lot like Ariana Grande's Sweet Like Candy. I just didn't feel it was enough of a personal love for me. It was more, it's objectively good, it sells really well, it's still available, but it's up there. I think it's a good one. And also for me, Private Show VIP. That's just a really pretty, fun, kind of sugary, strawberry, sweet smelling scent, and my bottle of that is, on its way out. I need to replace that, but it's not easy to buy. So yeah, getting this to the 10 wasn't particularly easy, and I would love to know which of these you've tried, your favourites, ones you'd like to try. Yeah, please do chat to me in the comments. So I always like to think about are they worth it? Is the perfume worth the price? And with the Britney scents, when there's a new launch, they do tend to retail at about £35 for the 100ml, and I do always like to wait. Sometimes in the past, Sam has encouraged me to buy more quickly. I know with Festive Fantasy, we did pay about £35 just to have it, you know, hot off the press when it was new. But actually, I prefer to wait. I think £25 is the most I would like to pay. So my advice would be just to wait until they've been in the shops a little bit longer and the prices come down. My tip would also be to scour those reseller sites, being obviously a little bit careful and reading reviews and making sure the seller that you're buying from has good reviews too. Just because when people want to sell things, of course, they want something gone, it doesn't have that worth to them, and yet you can find some of these perfumes at really good prices. So yeah, look on your reselling sites, especially for the perfumes here that are discontinued. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know any other collections that you would like to see. Please do give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you are enjoying my content. I've got lots more reviews for you to look back on and lots more to come. You can also find me on Instagram, where I post daily, on TikTok, my blog, and also on Threads. Thank you again, and I will see you in my next video. Click, click.